want you to look really good and hard at this image. This is a decaying asbestos cement water pipe. You can see at the left end there's some of the concrete casing is still there, there's some of it across the top, but the actual makeup of the asbestos concrete pipe is totally disintegrating. I want you to imagine a couple of things. First of all, that you're the maintenance worker and you're going to cut this and you're somehow going to attach it, whatever's left of it, to whatever the new replacement pipe is, and you're going to put that together because all the water has been running through those pipes coming into your houses for your drinking water, and I will bet everything I own that it's impossible to reconnect that to a new pipe and not get asbestos fibers in the water. It's impossible. Now, take it a step further. We all know that asbestos causes cancer. We all know that you mustn't inhale it. But for some reason there's this problem about ingesting it, and Health Canada's all wishy-washy and won't do anything about it. The level that the US adopted, which Canada has also adopted, is that you are allowed to have 7 million asbestos fibers in a liter of water before it becomes dangerous. So that's a little bit hard to get your head around, 7 million in a liter of water. So let's break it down to a mouthful, because it only takes a mouthful, not a liter, to get you cancer. And that means that in 1 tablespoon of water, which is representative of a mouthful, it means you can have 110,000 microscopic asbestos fibers in your drinking water before there's a problem. Now I want you to imagine swallowing 1 tablespoon of water. You're going to take it in through your mouth, it's going down through your throat, through your digestive system, through your stomach, through your colon. And I'm going to suggest to you that each one of those 110,000 asbestos fibers are going to be like cat hair to a strip of Velcro. They are going to stick anywhere it touches. They are not going to pass through. It's impossible. Your innards are wet, they're going to stick. And you're not going to get cancer tonight, you're not going to get it next week, next month or next year, because it takes decades, probably 2 decades before it surfaces. And what really infuriated me a couple of days ago, we met somebody we knew on a bike trail, and I mentioned this to him, and he's approaching 80, and his answer was, who cares, I'm out of here pretty soon anyways. So don't anybody ever tell me that it's the young kids who don't care. This is our age group, we're responsible, and we need to take responsibility and hold those in positions of power accountable. I'm going to touch on one other thing. It's not my main point here, but I just want to mention what I also talked about in Qualicum Beach. We have a situation there where I happened to uncover 3 locations in spring of 2025 where the town, instead of contracting the company called Hazmat, who are the approved certified asbestos removal people, to remove the pipes in 3 different locations, they conveniently, or the mayor conveniently, mistakenly contracted somebody else who wasn't registered or approved. He made the contract to Crow's Engineering, and he forgot what is legally required in the contract to state that the pipes had to be removed. So Crow's Engineering, they got the contract. They knew full well that they weren't qualified to do the maintenance. They knew the pipes had to be removed. They're not registered to do that. So what did they do? They subcontracted those 3 locations. 1 location went to a company called In the Dirt out of, I think, Ladysmith. 2 went to a company called David Stalker out of Nanu's Bay. And I can't say for sure whether they hired the day workers or if they subcontracted to another level. But the people that were brought in to work on that site, on those 3 sites, were day workers, the poor souls that you see standing up outside a labor office, hoping for a day's work, hoping that they can make enough money for a hot meal and to keep a roof over their heads for a few more nights. I'm going to guess that they had no idea what they were handling. At the same time as they were handling it, The law says that they're supposed to have a shelter erected. They're supposed to be given PPE equipment to wear. The shelter is for them to change into and out of PPE and to keep the fibers contained. They should have had signage outside the work site to make passers-by aware that they should cross the street and not walk next to it. They should have put door hangers on each resident's home to say what they were doing and that they needed to run their drinking water for a couple of hours because they like to call it sediment that will show in their glasses of water. I call it asbestos fibers. They call it sediment. None of that happened. But we've got an organization here that's supposed to look into that, right? The organization is called WorkSafe BC. I sent them information more than 6 months ago, and at first it was, oh yes, we're interested, we'll act on it. And then within a month, they stopped returning phone calls, they stopped replying to emails. I've worked on it closely. I've brought in Stephanie Higginson, the MLA. I've tried to bring in Department of Labor and Department of Health. I have never seen people pass around a hot potato as fast as they pass this one around. Is absolutely shameful. What I also learned in the process of this, by talking to people in other communities, is that this has actually been the custom in Qualicum Beach for at least a decade, probably 15 years, and it's usually about 5 locations a year. So that means there's 50 locations in Qualicum Beach that have been left in the ground. When they're left in the ground, these fibers all break down and then break into the groundwater. And so it multiplies. It's going to be much harder to remove 10 years after it was left there than if they'd removed it the first time around. But this is not just happening in Qualicum Beach. From what I hear, this is happening to some degree in almost every community in BC. Now, why is it happening? The big reason is the cost. Would you like to make a guess of what it costs to remove 1 kilometer of asbestos cement water pipe?
$1 million.
$2.62 million per kilometer. That means that Qualicum is on the hook for more than 60 million. Yeah, I haven't calculated what Nanaimo is. But why isn't the Federation of Canadian Municipalities taking this up? The silence is deafening across the province and across the country. This is an absolute nightmare, which I'm not worried about us, because as the old guy said, we're out of here. I'm worried about these guys, about the people that are our kids' ages. This is what we're leaving, and we know full well what we're leaving. There's just a huge cover-up of silence.